send us out for your glory. Let all we do be praise to you. Send us out for your glory.
So Rachel, you spoke about your becoming a Christian was because of other people sharing their faith and their own testimony. Would you like to tell us a little bit about your faith and your testimony? What's your story with God?
So I grew up going to church as a child, and I always sort of, had some knowledge of God, and wanted to know God more. I guess God was always there in my life, but not to the degree that I had sort of really made a commitment to Him. I suppose growing up as a teenager, I went through the usual ups and downs, had some problems with depression and anxiety, went away to university, just living kind of typical student life, really, not really thinking too much about God or knowing too much about what faith was. When I was early 20s, I think, well, late teens, early 20s, my dad was diagnosed with leukemia. He was quite poorly at that time, and he started, I think, really thinking about what his faith meant to him, rather than just maybe going to church on a Sunday as a bit of a social club. Really, he started to really think more about God, and I think over that time he experienced God quite powerfully in his life, and so did my mom, really. And when I came back from university, after finishing my course, I noticed a really big change in them, and it was a bit scary at first. I was kind of, gosh, have you been brainwashed almost? What's going on here? But then I started to think and see the change in their life, and think, actually, there's a lot of things that I'm not really happy with in my own life. There's lots of things that I'm struggling with. What have I got to lose in going to a church and giving this a go, really? I mean, I'm sure there are people praying for me, like probably my mum and dad at the time. So I started going to St John's Church in Harborne at that time. And I think just was really impacted by people's faith there, and the realisation that the people that I met, they believed that when they prayed, something would happen. And they shared that, it was like God was really there in the moment. He can actively step into your life and change things. And so I did an Alpha course at that time, and I knew Ali then, and he did the course with me as well. And I think it was just learning about God, but also, I guess, people praying for me. And again, it's that fact that God was real, and making that decision that I was going to trust Him with my life, and Him to work in my life, and I could pray, and I could maybe step out of my comfort zone, and actually He would always be with me. It might not always be perfect, or things might go wrong, but I just have that faith. And we went on the Holy Spirit weekend on the Alpha course, and then I think it was at a service in church, a verse from the Bible just really spoke to me, and I decided that was it. Then I kind of committed myself to God. And so going on from there, complete changes in my life, quite dramatic. A lot of my anxiety and depression that had lifted a lot, although I still from time to time maybe have problems. It's not a regular ongoing thing in my life. Kind of decided to go into nursing then, which is something that I had considered a bit before, but not fully, and I had the confidence really to do that. And just lots of changes, really. From then on, that's kind of in a nutshell, really. I could go on telling lots and lots of things, but yeah, I think that's probably my testimony.
Thank you. That's so lovely. Thank you for sharing that with us.